Good morning, grade fours. For today's story on teaspoons and tablespoons, I actually have a little story for you guys first. This is a story about Miss Freeman. Now, Miss Freeman has been doing a lot of baking during quarantine, and you know what? I think I'm pretty good at it by now, but when Miss Freeman was young, she was not so great a baker. In fact, there was one time when Miss Freeman was trying to read a recipe and she saw 2 tablespoons of sugar on the recipe. But in her head, she was like, oh, that's 2 teaspoons. So she went and she made her beautiful dessert. And then instead of it turning out really nice and pretty, it was all weird and lumpy and flat. And when Miss Freeman bit into it, oh, it was really, really not good because there wasn't enough sugar in it. So I urge you, grade 4s, don't make the same mistake as Miss Freeman. Please make sure you know the difference between a tablespoon, which is TBSP, and a teaspoon, which is TSP. 3 teaspoons fit into just 1 tablespoon. So if Miss Freeman needed 2 tablespoons of sugar, she was like 5 tablespoons too short for her actual dessert. So please be careful with Miss Freeman's mistakes. Do not make the same ones. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start converting tablespoons and teaspoons so that you guys have a better idea than Miss Freeman. So we're going to start with some basic measurements, and as I write in the answers, I want you to see if you can find a pattern before Miss Freeman does. So if we have 1 tablespoon, that means we have 3 teaspoons of sugar. If we have 2 tablespoons, that's another 3 teaspoons. That means we'd have 6 teaspoons. And if we had 3 tablespoons, that would be another 3. That'd be 9 teaspoons. If you know your times tables really good, you might notice that they are going up by the 3 times tables. That's why, or that's because every time you need to go from tablespoons to teaspoons, you're just going to times by 3. So for example, if I knew I had 7 tablespoons to find teaspoons, I'm just going to do 7 times 3. That gives me 21, and I'm able to find my numbers really easily. Now this is great if our tablespoons are a nice even number like this, but sometimes we will be given weird fractional numbers like this, 4 1/3 tablespoons into teaspoons. And for this, I'm going to show you 2 different ways you could do this. You might want to do it the first way, but the second one's a little bit easier in my opinion, so I'll show you both. So once again, we know that if we are timesing by 3 to get our answer, we're going to have to do 4 1/3 times 3. Now this is a problem because these are not in fractions and we can't multiply numbers when they aren't properly in fractions. So if we want to do this one, we have to convert these into fractions. So I'm going to use my little circle-y for this one. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13/3. And then over here, 3 as a fraction is just the same as 3/1. So there we go. That's what my question looks like. And now that I have that, I can just multiply and I can find my answer. So, I can cross reduce. 13 times 1 is 13. 1 times 1 is 1. So that's like 13 1/2, or just 13 teaspoons. That's probably the way the textbook will show you how to do it. That is probably the easiest way to do it for some people. However, if you want, there is another way to do this problem. So, I'm going to start again. I have 4 1/3 tablespoons. Somehow I have to multiply that by 3. So now I'm going to save myself. I'm just going to do the big numbers. 4 times 3 equals 12. And then I have 1/3 left over. 1/3 of 3 tablespoons is just another 1 tablespoon. So that gives me 13 tablespoons. If that was 2/3, then it'd be adding 2 to it, but it's just 1. So you might want to do that. It's a little bit quicker, but this is more accurate. So one or the other, choose one, you can do it. So there we go, tablespoons to teaspoons, no problem. We have some methods now. The tricky thing is, what if we want to go backwards? What if we have teaspoons and we want to get to tablespoons? Well, if we're doing it the opposite way, we should do the opposite thing. So if usually we times to go from a big number or a big measurement to a small number measurement. In order to get from a small measurement to a big measurement, we're going to divide by 3. Do the opposite. So 30 divided by 3, you might be able to do that in the head, or you can do long division. 3 fits into 3 one time, 3 fits into 0 0 times. 0 remainder, so that's 10 tablespoons. There you go. So teaspoons to tablespoons, divide. Tablespoons to teaspoons, multiply. This is the one you'll be doing more of. You won't be doing very much of that. So give it a try. I wish you the best today. Goodbye.